Hey, welcome to Dad Space. This is Dave. It's a little different music this time around. Yeah, a little different. What are we doing? Well, this is National Podcast Post Month. What does that mean to you? It means to you that you're going to get 30 episodes in 30 days. 30, I know, right? And the idea is that as podcasters, we're going to create episodes in support of National Podcast Post Month. They call it hashtag #NaPodPomo for those at home that are keeping score. But the idea is that we just create content for you daily in the month of November. So we are focusing on some great people that have been past guests on the show and friends of the show, answering questions about dads and giving you some feedback. And then also adding in some of the books that I found and resources I found as a fellow dad that could help you possibly on your journey as a dad. So that's kind of what we're focusing on this month, and I'm excited to share this with you. It's going to be a great month, and today's episode is part of that. I'm excited to share with you a new resource, possibly new to you, and tell you my thoughts about it here on Dad Space. Glad to be with you. The other big part of November, which I'm excited to also bring forward for those that are unaware, is we call it also Movember. What is Movember? It's when the mustache is calling. It is our time as men to unite, to take on mental health, suicide, prostate cancer, testicular cancer, and all of that is to shine a light on men's mental health and men's physical health. And we're celebrating Movember as well. Link in the show notes for you to see how you can support is to raise money and awareness for men. So on top of doing National Podcast Post Month, this month is always focused on you as well as men. We're here to support you and to let you know that there's a community around you that's wishing and searching for the best for you as men. So happy Movember, everyone, as well. Let's get into the podcast. So we're talking about people choosing you. And the title of this episode is I Am Not an Option, Embracing My Value. I want you to understand that you don't have to change for people. You don't have to fit into somebody's mold, somebody's box. You don't have to make yourself small. You don't have to feel like you're small. You don't have to become something that you're not to gain favor with people. And people have a choice. They can choose. You can choose this podcast. You can choose to not listen to this podcast. You're free to come. You're free to leave. No one is holding you to this content. No one's holding you to this podcast. I would love for you to stay, but there's nobody here keeping you from leaving, right? And in our lives, similar to this podcast, people will come into your life and people will leave. It's kind of what happens. Sometimes we just grow apart. Friendships change over time, space, location, events. Sometimes we improve and our friend group doesn't. Sometimes we don't improve and they do. Sometimes our friend group has children and then that changes their path, and we don't have kids and we're on a different path, and that changes things. We lose people in our lives, our parents, our spouse, a child, and our life is different. We don't fit into the box we used to fit in before. But I have this little mixture of comments put together in kind of a story, a short story, basically, format for you. So I'm going to read it to you. All around the fact that you and I, we're not optional. And that we need to embrace our value as people and who we are in this life. Here we go. I will never beg anyone to choose me. If you think there's something better out there, then go. I won't hold you back. Life is way too short to keep someone who is unsure, who wavers like the wind. I believe in the freedom that comes from being true to one's heart. If you stay with me, It will be because your heart commands it, not because I asked you or because you have nowhere else to go. I am not an option, nor am I a convenience. I'm a choice. And I demand that whoever stays by my side chooses me for who I am, not for who you wish I could be. The door is always open. You are free to leave, but remember this, once that door closes, it stays shut. I don't offer second chances because I value what I have to give. If you can't see that now, someone else will. I want you to think about in the context of how you treat people. Are you holding your friendships hostage? Are you holding your relationships hostage? Are you holding your relationship with your kids hostage? With your partner hostage? With your boss? With your friends? With your siblings, your parents, your family? Are you holding people hostage in life where they must bend a knee to you to have access to you? I am not an option, nor am I a convenience. I am a choice. Your choice. Your choice to be in a relationship with me. Your choice to be part of my community. It's your choice. I look to the people who choose me. I look to them as I would do anything for them. But I am not going to stand out on the street and try to convince and compel you to be part of my world. I am not here to strong arm you into liking me. As a podcaster, as a fellow human, as a person that meets you on the street, as a family member, I am not here to force you to like me and accept me. How strong is a friendship and a relationship that is created through force? It's like peace in this world. I've heard that any peace that is secured by violence and guns and whatever is never really truly peace, because it's forced peace. It's forced resolution by whoever has the most power. And when people live under power, they never really feel at peace because there's someone above them who holds all the keys. In our relationships, it's all a matter of choice. So if I'm not enough for you, or I'm not who you think I should be for you, then maybe you should leave. Maybe you should leave out that door. But just so you know, I don't keep the door propped open in my life. I don't keep it wide open for just anyone to come in. I'm pretty selective on who's in my inner circle because I want to invest my life in people who care about me. And if you really don't care about me, and you're just here for whatever reason in my life, taking up space, taking up rent and space in my mind and in my heart, but you have zero commitment to me as a human being, the door is open. I will not force you to stay. It will be because your heart commanded you to do this. Not because I asked or because you have nowhere else to go. I'm not your last option. After you've worked through all of your other options, I am not the last one. Like back in public school, grade school, when we picked teams, at recess, at break, to play sports, I am not your last option. After the entire pool of all available options has been exhausted, well, I'll just take Dave. I'll just take Bob, Mary, Robin, Ralph. I'll just take you. I'm not your last option. I am not your option. I have value in this world. And so do you. This is Dad Space. I'm glad you're here. happy November to you. Happy Movember. And I would love for you to share this with another dad. This podcast, this Movember, this month where we focus on dads, this is the focus on you. And we are in your corner. If you've ever felt like you're alone, if you've ever felt like you're doing this on your own and there's no one there to help you and support you, then let Dad Space be that for you this Movember. We need to stick together. We need to be there to support each other and build each other up as men. And this was an entire month focused on us being Movember. So happy Movember, everyone. Understand that you're loved, cared for, and needed in this world. And there's no one else that can be the father that you can be. There's no one else who can be the man that you can be. And we need you. Happy Movember. Thanks for listening to Dad Space. I look forward to having you back for the next daily episode here in the month of November as we celebrate Movember and National Podcast Post Month. Thanks for listening. Thanks for being a great dad. And thanks for sharing the show. Happy Movember, everybody.
It's time to rethink men's health. Because it doesn't just affect men, it affects us all. When men are well, the benefits ripple through families and communities. But when men are unwell and unsupported, we all feel it. We're all the real face of men's health. Be part of the solution with Movember.